Welcome back, investors, to Ticker Time News. I'm Adam. Thank you for joining me today for the After Hours show. I do apologize for being late today. I had a doctor's appointment that went way longer than expected, and that caused the show to be late. So I apologize for that deeply from the bottom of my heart. I do not want to be late. Now that we have this set schedule, I want to stick to it. And if I promise to do something, I want to do it. So if something comes up that I can't make it or something happens, please know that it is a bit out of my hands at the time. So I do apologize for being late today. I do not want to set that precedent of not showing up when I say I'm going to show up. So we are here now. The doctor's appointment was okay. As most of you know, I'm sure by watching a few of the videos, I have porphyria, and I'm actually disabled and cannot walk. I'm in a motorized wheelchair. That's how I get around. So it's challenging at times, but that's a little bit of me personally. So without talking too much about it, let me make sure this chat is opened up here so I can get your conversations, your questions as they come in. And we are going to jump right into it. So a big mover today, Tesla. Tesla was up 12.6%. It's over $1,000 right now, and it hit a new all-time high. It actually landed the largest ever EV deal, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. So the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 ended the day at record highs. The Dow closed at 35,741, and that was up 0.18%. The S&P 500 closed at 4566, and that was up 0.48%. While the NASDAQ also gained nearly 1%, the NASDAQ closed at 15,226, and they were up 0.19%. So this was, at least the NASDAQ, was supported by Tesla that you see on your screen here. Something else, and there's a lot of things that happened with Tesla today, and we're going to talk about them all. But Morgan Stanley also upgraded Tesla, and they upped their price target to $1,200, and it was at $900. So they've upped their price target to $1,200, almost there now that we're in the thousands. But I think more upgrades for Tesla will be coming out soon. As you know, Tesla had an amazing quarter, and with that amazing quarter, the announcement today about Hertz buying a whole bunch of vehicles from Tesla, there will be more price target increases, more upgrades, and more analysts kind of rethinking their Tesla numbers. Let's put it that way. That's what I believe is going to happen with Tesla. Now, a couple things that are also happening. Investors are awaiting earnings from a few other big corporations, including Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Boeing, Caterpillar, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and out of, so far, 117 S&P 500 companies that have reported earnings, 84% of them so far have beat the street's estimates. Now that is pretty cool. I don't know that Q4 is going to be so exciting as Q3 because there's a lot of talk in these Q3 earnings calls about labor shortages, higher input costs, inflation, transportation costs are going up. So their margins are going to shrink a bit in Q4. And that could have an impact on the market. But again, not until next year in 2022. So the market, I believe, is going to have this nice year-end rally. And it'll be similar, not the same, but similar, because history does rhyme, to last year. How we had a rally in through December and parts of January, and then it started falling off. I could see that same exact pattern happen again at the end of this year and into the beginning of next year. Now, 9 of the sectors today traded in positive territory. With consumer discretionary, that sector overtook energy for the lead. That's notable because energy has been leading for weeks now. What helped consumer discretionaries outpace energy? Well, Tesla. Tesla being up 12.6% is a big chunk, and that helped move the sectors that way. Now, there were other couple of notable movers today. Get my notes out right here. So we have, let's see here. We talked about Tesla. Etsy. Etsy was approaching its all-time record high that it set all the way back in March of $251. Best Buy, ticker symbol BBY, it was rising to a 2-month high. Let's see here. Target, ticker symbol TGT, they had a rally to its best level in over 2 months. Lowe's, ticker symbol LOW, LOW, it was rallying for the 11th consecutive day to a fresh record. Home Depot, also ticker symbol HD, rallied for the 11th consecutive day to a fresh record high. Nike, ticker symbol NKE, it was rising to its best level since early September. And then we have Amazon, ticker symbol AMZN. Well, it was not rising. And let's plug Amazon in here. AMZN is the ticker symbol. I'm going to load here for a moment. Here we go. Now, this is a 1-hour chart that we are looking at. And although Amazon wasn't down much, for the day, it was down 0.46% or $15. After hours, it's up. It's recovered half of what it lost today. But you can see here, it fell below its 200-day moving average. The yellow line that is going all the way across your screen here, that's the 200-day moving average. And it's significant when a company falls below that 200-day moving average. Amazon did that today. Amazon is 3 days away from earnings. It wasn't a big drop today, but if we scroll out here and if we look at Amazon's performance over the past couple of months since September there, you can see September, a little peak, and then it fell below, it dropped off, and it fell hard. It actually got to a low right here of about 32.04, okay? And then it had a little rally. But if we scroll out a little bit more, we can see that even though Amazon was above its 200-day moving average here, and then again recently over here, there was this big drop right here. And that kicked off this competing being above and then under the 200-day moving average. And it was around these earnings right here. It beat earnings by 23%, but it missed revenue by 2%. So it beat EPS, earnings per share, but missed on revenue. That's what caused this. Now, Amazon, 2 days away from earnings right here, they have an EPS estimate of $8.90. Can Amazon hold on to beating this estimate, or are inflation pressures taking over? That would be what we're watching for. How high are input costs going up? What's happening with the labor market for Amazon specifically? What about transportation costs and other input costs? So it's something to watch there. All right, so that's Amazon below its 200-day moving average today, and that is significant. We also have Autozone. I'll plug them. Ticker symbol is AZO. Let that load here for a minute. They were down 0.5%, but Autozone, it hit a fresh record high today before it turned negative, and it's not a big, well-known company. And that's why when we're looking at this 1-hour chart here, it looks very spotty. Like the candlesticks are hard to see. And that's because there's not a lot of, huge volume, steady volume. Volume comes in patches. And that's why you see a lot of gaps, a lot of holes, and a lot of little tiny candles. They're not even candles. They're basically little lines, placeholders for a price. So it doesn't move very fast. But when it does move, it will move quickly. But they were down slightly. 18.22 is the current price, and of course 9 cents. But the new all-time high was 1844.99. So good job for AutoZone. All those cars that were sold last year and the beginning of this year, all the used cars that were sold, they need parts. They need air filters changed. They need maintenance, windshield washer fluid and windshield washers. And this is where you go to pick up those things. So that's why AutoZone is doing so well right now. Okay, let's move off of AutoZone and let's talk about Tesla. I know that's what everybody is looking for. TSLA is the ticker symbol. What an incredible day. Good job, Tesla. Great job. We can see here we got a bit of a pullback in after hours of 0.18%, which is nothing at all. It's $1.86. So this is a 1-hour chart. That's why these candlesticks look so fat like that and wide. But they reached the all-time high today of $1,045.02. Talk about an amazing day, up 12.66% for a company the size of Tesla. It is amazing to hit that fresh record high. It's impressive. And why did this happen today? Why did Tesla shoot up 12.6%? Well, Tesla had a nearly perfect earnings. Nearly perfect earnings call. Bit boring, but it was a good call. But Tesla up 12.6% today, new all-time high. It is incredible. The biggest thing, Tesla now joins the $1 trillion club. Yes, the $1 trillion. Tesla's market cap is $1.015 trillion. It's a $1 trillion company now. That is incredible. Now, Tesla joins others in this $1 trillion club, like Apple, like Microsoft, like Alphabet, like Amazon, and like Facebook. They are all $1 trillion companies. They have a $1 trillion market cap. Now, what else came out for Tesla today? ARK Invest Tasha Keeney says the Hertz deal, which we'll talk about in just a moment, could offer free advertising for Tesla, as well as an opportunity for a partnership in robo-taxi fleet management and maintenance down the road. That is critical right there. If Hertz and Tesla can partner on a robo-taxi, that will be game over for a lot of these other automakers. Now, here's the big news about Hertz and Tesla. Hertz is ordering 100,000 vehicles from Tesla as the car rental company makes a major move to offer electric vehicles to customers. Bloomberg reports that the deal is the largest single purchase for EVs ever and will bring in around $2.4 billion in revenue for Tesla. The vehicles are expected to be delivered to Hertz over the next 14 months. So they're not going to get a chunk of cars delivered at one time. It's spread out over 14 months. It's being reported as 14 months. The development is an indicator of the advantage that Tesla has in signing deals before GM and Ford ramp up their electric vehicle production. This is big. Tesla is leaving the old school automakers behind, totally leaving them behind. They're going to be wanting to license Tesla software to put in their electric vehicles. If the GM and Fords of the world, the big automakers of the past, think that because they're creating electric vehicles, they'll be able to regain their good old glory days, that's a fickle dream that's fading. Tesla is the new dominant player in the automotive industry, and Tesla will remain the dominated automotive dealer, manufacturer, amongst a whole host of other things for the next several decades. But then one day somebody will come along and take out Tesla, probably with some flying car or something, right? These big companies, they don't stay on the top forever, but they can remain there for 100 years. So Tesla has got a very big and bright future ahead for everybody involved, including investors. Now, another part of this Hertz deal is that Hertz will be adding EV charging infrastructure across the company's global operations. Now, I didn't see where it said that these chargers would be Tesla's chargers. So whose could they be? You would probably assume that maybe this EV charging infrastructure would be part of Tesla's operation. Maybe it's ChargePoint, or maybe it's somebody else. I didn't see that, or if I did, I'm not recalling seeing exactly who the superchargers will be made by. So that is, again, more important and good news, not just for Tesla, but for the EV industry as a whole. Now, beginning in early November and expanding through year end, customers will be able to rent a Tesla Model 3 at Hertz Airport and neighborhood locations in the U.S., in U.S. major cities, I should say, and select cities in Europe. As a part of this EV move, Hertz plans to use NFL star Tom Brady, Tom Brady, in advertising to showcase how it is making EV rentals, quote, fast, seamless, and more accessible. 2 new ads starting today show Brady renting, recharging, and using an EV at a Hertz airport location. Hertz said, quote, Hertz is changing the game when it comes to the future of mobility and has come through for me time and time again, says future Hall of Famer Tom Brady. So that's incredible for Hertz, but more so for Tesla. This is where the free advertising that Tasha Keeney was talking about comes into play. You have a NFL future Hall of Fame superstar using your product, driving in the product, and showing how easy it is to use the product. That's free advertising for Tesla. Even though it's a Hertz ad, it is a Tesla vehicle being shown to be user-friendly and simple. It's pretty amazing. It is a great marketing gift for Tesla. Now, maybe on the back end, on the back side of this, maybe Tesla, gave Hertz a Tesla to use. Maybe there's some negotiation in the back where, yes, this is a Hertz ad, but maybe Tesla played a small part in the background. We don't know. We don't have the deal to look through, but it's a thought. But it is really good for Tesla to have this fleet of cars that people can rent and drive and return. Because just think, how many people think, man, it would be pretty cool to have a Tesla. But I just don't know. I've been driving an ICE vehicle for my whole entire life. But now I'm thinking about an electric vehicle. You can go to Hertz, rent the car for the day, and be like, wow, this is like driving a superhero car. It's incredible. Then the person returns it the next day. They're ordering, or as soon as they get home, maybe even on the computer, they're ordering a Tesla. So it's really good for all involved. Okay, somebody I want to talk about is Facebook. Facebook did report earnings today, and we have a small problem. Okay, Facebook gapped down right here. You can see it. But Facebook has already been going in that direction. If we look at the chart here, Facebook has been in a decline. Now, on the video I posted last night about Catalyst and stocks set to move, I said that this downtrend for Facebook, well, it could be a buying opportunity. And if we look here, Tesla is in a pattern here, okay? And in this pattern, it reaches this high, and it's using its 200-day just above the purple line. You can see that yellow line. That yellow line is the 200-day moving average. Now, it is using the 200-day moving average as resistance right now. And it could be also used for resistance if we go back and look at Amazon again and see how they're performing. But Facebook today, they broke this lower purple line right here. They broke it. They came back above it. This right here, this break, where it got as low as $319, this was your buying opportunity. As a matter of fact, you could say this whole area right here from the gap down that occurred at 9:30 this morning and ran all the way through to right here towards the end of the day, this was your buying opportunity for Facebook. I believe Facebook will bounce. I said in the video last night, it may take a day or two for it to really bounce, but it was up 1.2% today. And after hours, it's up 1.8% today. People are not sitting on the sidelines for this dip in Facebook. They can see what's happening. They know what's coming. They can see the chart patterns. And that's why we use TA, or technical analysis, because it can show us and be a guide for us for where to enter a position. If we want to get out of the position, where's the exit point? So that's why we use TA, or technical analysis. It can help us identify these spots. But more on Facebook. Facebook saw an initial post-market dip, but turned higher to close up 1.26%. After its third quarter earnings missed revenue expectations, and we can see right here what their earnings were. So they had EPS, earnings per share, of $3.19. That beat by 1%. And they had revenue of $29 billion, and that beat by 4.39%. Now, with this, okay, the street's estimates, this is in TradingView. What you see in TradingView, it can differ from place to place. I mean, okay, look at this. This is earnings estimates, and then you have the actual earnings being reported. But you have the estimate for revenue at $27.85 billion and estimated earnings, or EPS, at $3.19. This, you can go to Webull, and you can actually use Webull. We'll go to Facebook, and when you go into Webull and you go into the company you want to look at, and if you're using on a laptop or a computer, on a phone, it would be a little bit different when you're using the app. But you can look right down here at the bottom underneath the candlesticks, and you can see news, financials, analysis, press releases, corporate actions, options, and a brief. It tells you about the company. But under analysis, it gives you buy ratings, it gives you price targets, it gives you support and resistance. Very basic, okay? The information is very basic, but you can use the information to go places, to do more research. You can use it as a starting point. But if we look right here, they have earnings EPS at $3.19, and then revenue EPS at $29.58, $29.58 billion. Okay, and then we hop back over to TradingView. See, $29.58 is what they had for revenue, but here on TradingView, the estimate is not $29.58, it's $27.85. So from place to place, you can find slightly different numbers. Just something I want to point out, and kind of a teachable lesson here for all of us. When you're investing in companies and you're looking at estimates for earnings, it is possible to see different numbers when you're looking at different places. So TradingView versus Webull, they're probably getting their information from two different sources, and that's why the numbers can be different. But it's okay, it's just an estimate. Now, the street, and when people are doing reporting, they're all using the same exact source, okay? Which can be slightly different from TradingView numbers, which can be slightly different from Webull numbers. Now, the official numbers, Facebook missed on revenue. Here, on revenue, they were up 4.3% from this estimate. From the street's estimate, the official estimates, Facebook missed on revenue, and it was the first time in many years that Facebook missed. Now, the company guided its Q4 earnings to the downside, which is something that I mentioned yesterday in yesterday's video about Facebook's earnings and what happens with their future revenue and earnings. What is the Apple thing? Is the Apple tracking going to affect it? And yes, it did. Twitter comes out with earnings tomorrow. I'm sure Apple's ad tracking is going to place a burden on Twitter's earnings. So Facebook did place or guide downward their Q4, citing Apple's iOS 14 privacy changes as a factor. Now, Apple's ATT change will definitely affect all social companies who are using third-party or Apple's information to track customers than to serve ads, okay? Facebook's revenue came in at $29 billion, up 35% year over year, but nearly 500 million short of estimates. And monthly active users also fell below the street's estimate. It beat on profitability, though, with EPS growth growing 19% to $3.22. Operating income rose 30% to $10.24 billion. In operating margin, it dipped to 39% from 37% a year ago. So just a 1% slightly lower. The company also announced a $50 billion increase in its share repurchase authorization. That'll help shares go up. Facebook said, quote, "Our outlook reflects a significant uncertainty we face in the fourth quarter in light of continued headwinds from Apple's iOS 14 changes and macroeconomic and COVID-related factors." That's what Facebook's management said. So that's Facebook. I think this is a buy a dip opportunity. Of course, it's not for everyone. I understand that. That's fine. We're here as investors to learn and to grow. All right, next up is Microsoft. Ticker symbol is MSFT. Excuse me for just a quick moment. Okay. Microsoft down a fraction of a percent today, and it's recovered all of its losses in after hours today. So the stock has been flat. After hitting this all-time high right here of $311, the stock has basically been flat. It's down slightly, a few bucks, but it's basically been flat. It's using its 50-day moving average as support, which is important for a company at all-time highs. Now, why am I talking about Microsoft? Well, Microsoft will announce Q1 22 earnings results tomorrow. The estimated EPS is $2.07, a 14.3% year-over-year growth, and revenue of $44 billion, and that's an 18.3% year-over-year growth. Cloud computing could be key to continued growth at Microsoft. Management expects, quote, "accelerating digital transformation and consistent strong execution to drive another quarter of growth for its cloud computing platform." Over the last 2 years, Microsoft has beaten EPS estimates 100% of the time and beaten revenue estimates 100% of the time. So I'd expect Microsoft to do the same tomorrow. All right. So it's at all-time high. Like I said in yesterday's video about catalysts to move stocks, Microsoft is at all-time highs, right? Buying at all-time highs can be tricky. You don't want to buy at all-time highs and then be left holding the bag. If you're buying at all-time highs, you need to definitely implement some sort of investing or trading strategy, because you do not want to be left at the top. Sometimes once a company reaches a top, if something bad happens, it could take a year before the company gets back to those all-time highs. And you do not want to be left with those losses for that 365 days. So you have to have a strategy intact when investing in companies at all-time highs. There's a saying, momentum is your friend, and it's true in a lot of cases. If you look at Microsoft, at the beginning of October, if you would have bought then, you'd have had yourself a nice rally riding the momentum, the trend for Microsoft, right? Even at this pullback right here on the 12th, the 11th of October, if you would have bought here, you still would have had a nice rally up to new all-time highs. So momentum is your friend. The trend is your friend. Those are sayings that they hold true, but they don't work always when a company is at all-time highs, okay? So if you are investing in or trading in Microsoft while it's at these all-time highs, be careful, because other investors are watching these exact same chart patterns and they might move sooner than you. So when earnings come out for Microsoft tomorrow, it could propel the stock to new all-time highs. That is definitely a probability. And that's what investing is. Probabilities. Who is the likely probable winner in this sector or that sector? And that's who we're investing in, right? We also invest because we love certain companies. We love their products. We use them every day, and we want to invest in what we're using. So just be careful. Earnings should be nice tomorrow. The company should definitely do good. Okay, I want to talk about Google or Alphabet. I'm going to ticker symbol GOOG to look at Alphabet or Google. I always think to myself, okay, so when I'm talking about Alphabet, should I be saying Alphabet or should I be saying Google? I mean, Google is the old name for the company. It is also the biggest part of Alphabet. From a search. And here we go. Here we go. I said the wrong name. So now we've got the technology talking to us. Okay. Alphabet. I'll say that so I don't trigger any devices. Alphabet's also reporting tomorrow, so keep them on your radar. Let's look at their estimates real quick here. So actually, let's go over here to Webull, and let's look at Google's estimates over here. So again, typing in Google GOOG to get Alphabet. I know it can be confusing. But right here, when you're looking at the bottom on Webull, again on a laptop or a desktop, you can see right here you've got a ton of options to look at. You've got all kinds of information you can use. So for earnings, we have EPS of $23.47. This company makes massive profits. That's why it's got its hands in so many cookie jars, because it makes such big profits. Now on the revenue side, that's over here, and we need to go to Q3 21, and it's at $63.45 billion. That's the estimated revenue for Alphabet. And again, they report tomorrow. If we look at analysis here, it's a buy rating. Price target between 2,700 and 3,425. I know it's a very expensive stock. We can actually go to institutional holdings, short interest, order flow, and you can see that inflows of $546 million and outflows at $296 million. So more people are buying into Google than selling it. And it's mainly the larger institutional investors, 34.5%, versus small retail investors who have put in inflows of $5.44 million. So And when you look at who's been selling, it's also institutional, but also smaller firms have been selling and taking profit. But retail, they're not selling. Only 0.03% selling them. Okay, so that's a little insight there to using Webull for estimates. You can use TradingView for the same thing. And we've got links for both of those companies down in the description below if you'd like to check them out. All right, another company I want to talk about, and we're going to get to Bitcoin too in just a moment, and this is Kimberly-Clark, ticker symbol KMB. All right, Kimberly-Clark has been in a downtrend, and they were down 2.2% today. They're at $130. Now, I'm talking about Kimberly-Clark to show the effects of inflation. Kimberly-Clark, ticker symbol KMB, could use a tissue as its stock trades lower after the paper-based consumer products manufacturer lowered its fiscal year 21 guidance for the third consecutive quarter. That is not good news. After starting the year guiding to fiscal year 21 adjusted EPS of $7.75 to $8 in revenue growth of 4 to 6%, Kimberly-Clark is heading into its final quarter guiding to earnings of just $6.05 to $6.25 and growth of just about 1 to 2% as inflation and supply chain pressures continue to weigh on the company. Overall, inflationary pressures are creating a difficult growth environment for Kimberly-Clark. Its peer, Procter & Gamble, ticker symbol PG, noted similar headwinds during its Q1 September earnings call last week, wherein its expected fiscal year 22, and that would be ending in June of 2022, cost shot up over 27% from its previous quarter. Kimberly-Clark shares fell about as hard as PG shares did on that specific news. However, I do anticipate Kimberly-Clark will have a more challenging near-term future than PG. Remember, Procter & Gamble was PG, given Kimberly-Clark extensive exposure to tissue-related products. Lumber, a major input for paper, is still priced at 10-year highs despite falling more than 50% since May, which could continue to pressure earnings. On a final note about Kimberly-Clark, does Kimberly-Clark provide investors? Getting my thoughts mixed up here. I'm thinking about earnings because everything is about earnings right now. Kimberly-Clark does give out a dividend of 3.4% and a slightly more attractive forward PE ratio of about 19 times than PG or Procter & Gamble's 23 times. As such, I think Kimberly-Clark could be a great addition for investors seeking income at a fairly attractive valuation. However, I believe Kimberly-Clark may continue to experience difficulties in the near term and think Procter & Gamble may be the better story at the moment. What do you think about these two big conglomerates offering these everyday products that we use? Kimberly-Clark, Procter & Gamble. Which one would you choose? Okay, moving on now to the restaurant industry. We're going to look at Brinker for just a moment. Their ticker symbol is EAT, E-A-T. All right, they were flat today. Now, when Brinker, ticker symbol EAT, the parent company of Chili's, sharply cut its quarterly guidance last week, It raised a red flag for the entire restaurant industry as earnings season ramps up. While restaurant brands who reported today, and I talked about in last night's video, ticker symbol QSR, and its lineup of quick service restaurants compete in a different territory than EAT, ticker symbol EAT. The root causes behind their warning are still applicable to this company, Restaurant Brands, namely labor shortages, supply chain disruptions, and rising commodity costs are eroding margins. It's forcing these restaurant companies to raise menu prices. In its Q3 earnings report, Restaurant Brands, ticker symbol QSR, disclosed that these same issues impacted its results. Although the company still managed to scratch out a 2-cent beat on earnings per share, or EPS. Last thing to note on QSR, or Restaurant Brands. Their mixed results are an alert for McDonald's and Wendy's, which are slated to issue earnings on October 27th for McDonald's and November 10th for Wendy's. These two companies may have fared better during Q3 than Restaurant Brands did, but industry-wide, labor shortages and commodity inflation are bound to be key factors in their upcoming earnings reports. In the near term, these headwinds don't seem likely to stop, but the hope is that the tightening grip of inflation will ease in the second half of 2022. Okay, now on Restaurant Brands specifically, ticker symbol QSR, they were down 5% today. They fell out of this chart pattern that they were in, but this was, I believe, a buy of the dip for them. If you like companies like Popeyes, then this is a company to look at because they're the parent of Popeyes. So they have fast food chains as part of their company. And fast foods, even though inflation is going up, fast food companies are not going away. They'll figure out a way to survive. Now, I want to talk about another company, and that's Warby Parker, ticker symbol WRBY. WRBY. Now, they recently became a publicly traded company. On September 29th is when they began a huge dip down to a low of $46.50. But since hitting that low right there, they've been a rocket ship. They went up, 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 up. They hit a new all-time high of $59.78. And then they were up 3.69% today. So really good there. They're up a couple pennies in after hours, up about 6 cents in after hours. So it's looking pretty good. They're 37 days away from reporting their first ever earnings report. Now, why am I bringing them up? That's because Bird initiated coverage today with an outperform rating and a $68 price target. So if we measure that, we've got to pull our chart down a little bit here so we can get to that $68 mark. And if we measure from where they are right now, okay, all the way up to $68, a little too far. Okay, that's a 14% gain. So if you can lock in prices now in the $59 range, you can get a 14% gain, according to this analyst. Now, the reason for this is over the past decade, the firm believes Warby has established itself as a disruptive force in the $31 billion vision care market. The firm says that while the market has put a premium valuation on their business, the firm thinks the stock risk reward is attractive for this open-ended growth story. So they believe that there's nothing but growth ahead. The runway is long, they have plenty of money, and they will be a lasting disruptor in a very big market. I mean, eye care industry, we all end up needing our eyes checked at least once or twice, or for some people, several times. I myself need to get an eye checkup. Computer screen starting to look a little bit blurry. But they're at a $6.3 billion market cap right now in a $31 billion a year industry. So that's why they're talking about the valuation being a bit stretched on them, but they believe the runway and the growth for this company is massive. Okay. All right. Let's go to Bitcoin. We all want to look at Bitcoin. If you're on TradingView, it's BTCUSD. Then you have a couple options to pick from. I go to Coinbase for their price. Right now, Bitcoin is at 62,821 and moving pretty rapidly. All right, let's move the chart a little bit. Let's get it in here. Okay, right here, up here at this top. This would be a high right here of $66,999. That is the current all-time high for Bitcoin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a little tracker at 67,000 and $2 right there. So when Bitcoin crosses that, then I get an alert, so I know when Bitcoin is now at a new all-time high. That's what I set that there for. Right now, since reaching that high, Bitcoin has pulled back, and we were talking about last week on the live streams how low could Bitcoin go before reaching a bottom. And Bitcoin got to a low of around $59,500. That's about as low as it went. I don't think, maybe a little bit lower. Nope, $59,500. That's as low as it went. And I talked about maybe 58,000 and some change, $59,000 would be its range, its bottom. And it looks like that has paid off so far. Now, we've had a nice little rally there over the weekend and then a pullback here today after it did break this price resistance right here. Now, again, these price resistance, they're not too hard for Bitcoin to break. But it is interesting to note that after Bitcoin reached its all-time high and it pulled back, one of the areas right here is where Bitcoin tried to regain the rally, and it got to this exact price point right here, and it was rejected not once but twice and then fell off. Now we get up, we test it, we get rejected, and we fall off. And this is the exact same price right here, and it's at $63,633. That's exactly where I have it marked off. Now, the candle wick, I know you can't see it on your screen, but the candle wick did go slightly above it. But, of course, the candle itself, it could not form above it because it pulled back. All right, Bitcoin right now, you can see this 200-day moving average. It's using that as support. That's a good sign. We don't want it to go lower than this 200-day moving average like it did over here. Usually once it gets below the 200-day moving average, you start looking for bottoms, okay? And that's what we did for Bitcoin right here. Now, we want to see the rest of today play out with Bitcoin staying above this 200-day moving average. And that's right here at about $62,400. All right. We want to see it stay right above that and then maybe rally and continue from that. So that's my analysis on Bitcoin right now. All right. One last company or stock I want to look at, and this stock has totally wrecked the whole stock market. It's become the new momentum stock, and that is ticker symbol DWAC. I know some people like it, some people hate it, some people are on the fence. Just remember to take your emotion out of it. Now, if you got in this company at the beginning, you made yourself a very, very juicy gain. However, now the company was down 10% today, almost 11% today, but in after hours, it did bounce and it's up 3.48%. So it's trying to find a floor. That's what it's looking for right now. And so far, the floor looks to be $82. I'll put a line in there. That's where the floor looks to be, around $82 and some change. You can see it dip down and touched it here, bounced off, dipped down and touched it here, and bounced off. It's way too early to really use any TA or technical analysis, but we can start building our technical analysis, if that makes sense. I've placed one possible area of support. That's all I can do. We have the 21-day moving average starting to appear on the chart. And down here at the bottom, we've got the 200-day moving average. Of course, it's totally flat because the stock is so new. Now, we have RSI starting to build here. We have volume starting to build. So we're starting to get our building blocks to use technical analysis for it. But I don't think right now this company is trading in any way, shape, or form on technical analysis or fundamentals. It is all emotional right now. And what's the one thing we must always remove from investing? Emotions. So just try to keep that in mind. This is another lesson to this spec of emotion-driven trading, okay? People get in, they want to make a quick buck, and they get out. They want to make a quick buck again because they did it once, and they go in and they do it twice. And they're like, wow, man, this is a great way to make money. Then they go in a third time and lose it all. So you have to be very careful when investing in. This is a SPAC. It's not even a company yet that has revenues. Okay, a little timer there in the background. I should have turned that off. My apologies for that. But I am doing this live stream a little bit later than I normally do. Again, I do apologize for starting the live stream late. I did have a doctor's appointment that went longer than expected. Okay, one last thing I want to talk about, and it's a question for you, for our Patreon members. And if you're not a Patreon member, you can go to patreon.com/tickertimenews, and you can pick a package that works for you. But I want to offer more value to Patreon members. And I would like your thoughts on this. So let me know what you think. If this is something that would be good and would add value. I would like to possibly get my signals or send my signals when I buy something, when I sell something, when I open an options play. I want to know if that would be something you are interested in. Would that add value for Patreon members? And whether it's my long positions, swing trades, day trades, crypto, options, whatever. Whenever I make a move for Patreon members, I will share those signals. Just think about it. Let me know if that is something that you think would add value for Patreon members. I'm not sold on the idea yet. I don't know what would be involved quite yet, the details of it. But I do want to find more value that I can offer Patreon members. So if you do have an idea or two, please let me know. Share it in the comments. You can also go to hello@tickertimenews and send us an email with your thoughts, your ideas, if it sounds interesting or not. So please do that. So that'll wrap up the different companies that I want to talk about, the big question that I wanted to ask you all. And just real quick, I want to hop in here. There was a stock that moved today, and I want to take a look at it here in Webull. All right, got to get back up to the top here. All right, come on. All right, come on now. For some reason, it's going a bit slow. Shouldn't be this slow. Well, as I'm scrolling up, I see a lot of solar. I see a lot of cryptocurrency. I see a lot of crypto-related companies all up today. I see Loose, it was up 11.3% today, back above $26. That's good. Tesla, wow, it did great. But Bloom Energy is who I wanted to look at. They were up 37% today. Bloom Energy. So why was this up 37% today? So it says Bloom Energy and SK EcoPlanet are affiliate of South Korean conglomerate SK Group. Expand their existing partnership to strengthen their position in the hydrogen and power generation markets. Under the partnership, SK EcoPlanet targets approximately $500 million equity investment in Bloom Energy. SK EcoPlanet will add a member to the Bloom Energy board. So that's why Bloom Energy shot up today. They're getting a big investment from a company in South Korea. Hope that answers your question, because I had people wondering, well, who is Bloom Energy? Why are they up 37% today? So that's it. We also have ELMS, which is the ticker symbol, ELMS, which is Electric Vehicle Last Mile. They were up 17.5% today. That's a very big move for them. They do electric buses and bigger vehicles. We also have Hut 8 Mining up 17%. Shiba Inu, it's up 16% right now. Tesla, Lithium, Xpeng, let's see, Marathon Digital. So a whole bunch Algo, Blue Sky Technologies, Skills was actually up 9% today. Hive was up 9.5% today. So lots of things connected to electric vehicles, solar, crypto were all up today and had great days. So I hope you profited from your journeys today. That's everything that I wanted to talk about today. So unless you have any other questions, I'll wrap it up here. Thank you all so very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And think about that question that I asked you. Would you find it valuable if I offered my trading investing signals to Patreon members? I'd really like to know if that would be value that Patreon members would enjoy. So let me know your thoughts on that. Sorry I missed it live on the road. Looking forward to the replay. What a great day. I'm mad I sold some Tesla early, but glad I kept the rest. Yeah, no problem. It's all good. I'm glad you can join me when you do. I did apologize at the beginning. I don't know if you caught that part or not for being late today. I had a doctor's appointment that went longer than expected, but that is not something I want to set as a precedent. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it, and it's that simple. So I do apologize for starting the stream late today. But thank you for joining me. No problems. Things do come up. I hope you're being safe out there on the roads and doing all right. And it is, Tesla had a crazy day today, definitely. I'm holding on to Tesla. I love the company. But that 12% move today, that was pretty amazing. And Tesla, back, last year it would have big moves like this, but recently Tesla hasn't had moves of 12% in a day or, down 15% in a day. So it's good to see this action back in Tesla. Okay, enjoy watching it. I did talk about quite a few companies in the live stream today. Thank you for joining me now. And I will talk to you and see you guys. Well, see you. You'll see me and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Remember, if you are watching the replay, if you have a question, leave the ticker symbol, your question in the comments, and we'll cover it tomorrow during our live stream, which will be starting right at 5 o'clock on the dot. Won't be a second late. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and end the stream now. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.